Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first video of 2023. Today I'm going to show you all of the pages and themes that I did in my bullet journals for 2022. I'm really excited to see all of the pages and themes that I did for the past year and reflect on all of them and show you the inside of my bullet journal that I normally don't show in videos and on my Instagram. So I really hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get started. The two bullet journals that I used for the past year are both from Notebook Therapy, and everything is going to be linked in the description below, and you can use my code CATSPLANNER for 10% off at Notebook Therapy. So this is the first notebook that I used from January to June of 2022. This is the Snow Wishes limited edition bullet journal by Notebook Therapy. This was my first time using like a dark blue bullet journal. Blue is my favorite color, but I normally don't use dark blue stationery, but I really love the cover page because it was really simple with just a little penguin. All of the pages that I did for the collections in this notebook are inspired by the Dreams of Snow collection by Notebook Therapy itself. It was one of the first times that I did a theme for my collections inspired by my notebook. I actually love doing that because it feels like it's about the notebook as well. So yeah. So at the beginning I always write that this notebook belongs to me, which is Kat. And this is my future log, and I normally do only 6 months in each notebook, but I always do a future log for the next 12 months, so the whole year. So if something is happening in the following months, I can just put it in here, even though these months are not in this bullet journal, if that makes sense. And for this theme, I used mostly blue and the washi tape from the Dreams of Snow collection and some stickers from Stationery Paul and Lunar Clouds. Overall, I really like this future log. It's really open and it has a lot of space for me to write everything that I need to write. And yeah, I was really happy with this future log, even though I don't look back at my future log. And that is something that I want to change next year, because I always do this page, but I never look back at it. Then I have my future events and future tasks, and this is a page that I always have in my bullet journal, so I can just write things here that need to get done or that are going to happen, and I don't forget anything. And I have my year in pixel spread, and this was my first time doing a year in pixel spread in my bullet journal, and I actually went through with it and filled out all the days for the first 6 months here, because then I moved into another bullet journal. And even though the color code was not the smartest, because it was really like all the same color, different shades, not my best choice at the moment, but I was able to see the days that were better than others. So I really like this page, and it's something that I want to keep doing it for now on, because I really like how this page turned out, and I can see all my moods for the year, and I don't have to have a mood tracker every month in my bullet journal. Then I have my small businesses table, and this is something that I did just because I wanted to buy from small businesses more often. I ended up not going through with it, but I really tried to try a few stores and see when I bought from them and what I got. It was fun at that time, but I'm probably not going to do that again. And next I have my New Year's resolution. I never really do New Year's resolutions in my bullet journal, and for the beginning of the year I just felt like it, so I did it, but I never looked back at this page, so it was a bit pointless. And now if I have goals or resolutions, I normally write them on Notion, which is just like a digital note-taking app, or I create monthly goals in my bullet journal, and it feels more doable and better for me instead of having a resolutions page in my bullet journal at the beginning of the year. And then I have my to check out page with different movies, TV shows, animes, and music. Actually, I really like this page, even though I didn't really look at it that much, and some of these TV shows and movies are still in my other bullet journal because I haven't watched them. It's just not a page that works for me that well. It was fun at the time, but I never used it, as well as my brain dump page. I always like to have pages for brain dumps because I feel like it's essential for me to just have a page where to put random tasks and ideas. But for this year, I actually never used it, so I just never did it again. And those are all my collections for the year. And we're going to start with January. So for January, I did a very minimalistic black and white theme. I normally use January as just like a month to do minimal stuff, minimal themes, minimal pages, because I really need a reset. So I used to do like minimal blue themes, but now I'm more in a black and white scheme of colors for January, so that's what I did. And I just wanted to do something very simple with some calligraphy and some black and white stickers, and this worked so well for me that I repeated this throughout February and March, I think. But I just love this aesthetic of black and white in my bullet journal, and this is something that I want to bring back into 2023 and do more themes of this style. I know that this is not the cup of tea of everyone. I know people that like more of the colorful themes, but for me this is what works, and in my bullet journal I should do the themes that work for me. So that this is exactly what I'm going to bring back into 2023. So I have my cover page here and a to-do list for the month. And I actually started doing these to-do lists every month, and they have been life-changing. And then I have my workout tracker where I would put the workout that I did, the time of the day that I did, and any moods or notes about the workout or the day or how I was feeling. It helped me a lot to keep on track of the days that I would work out and what I would do, and it made me so motivated to work out pretty much every day that I'm really glad that I tried this tracker. And alongside that, I have my habit tracker for the month, which is also really helpful, and I really like this minimal style of habit tracker as well. Then we start with the weekly spreads, and this is a weekly spread that it's extremely simple, but it worked out for me so well in January. January is always a busy month for everyone, so having a minimal 5-minute weekly spread to just write everything down is essential for me. So I'm really glad that I tried it and that I loved it so much. I just put a couple of stickers on it, and I just used a black marker, and it was done. I tried that for all of the weeks of January because it was working so well for me that I just didn't feel like changing it, and I didn't. And it feels very boring and repetitive, but for me it worked, so I'm really glad that I did it. And this was also when I started doing journaling. I'm going to blur this out, but I wanted to start doing more journaling in January, so after all of my weekly spreads, I just did some sections for journaling, and actually journaled quite a bit. This was something that did not stick with me throughout the year, which I'm really sad about, because I like to journaling, but I sometimes don't have the time, or I'm just not feeling like it, so I just stopped doing it. But I was really happy that I was able to do it for the majority of January. And I also did a January review and a reflection for February. Next we have February, and I did the same layout type of thing that I did for January, but more colorful. And this was the first time that I started selling my candy heart stickers. They are still available at my Ko-Fi shop as digital prints if you want to buy them. The link for my shop is in the description as well. But I just wanted something minimal but colorful, and I feel like this theme was like the perfect middle point, because I had all of the pages that I needed to have in my bullet journal, but with lots of color. So I have my cover page, my to-do list for the month, my habit tracker, my workout tracker, and I sometimes just need to change the order a little bit so it's not the same thing for 2 straight months. So that's what I did, but yeah, it worked out pretty well, and I still journaled a little bit throughout February, which I'm really happy about. The weekly spread is the same, with more stickers in the other, but still very minimal. my journaling for February, which was not a lot, as you can see, but... And we start with March, and March was a month that, like, the theme for March was so confusing to me because I normally don't do these types of themes, like with lots of flowers and only 3 different colors, but I wanted something, again, colorful and minimal, and this is what I saw on Pinterest somewhere, and I just really liked how the flowers were looking with the fine liners, so yeah, I wanted to try this theme, and I liked it. It's not my favorite, but I liked it, and it's something that I might recreate for 2023 with other color scheme, but it looks so good. So I loved March, even though it's not really my aesthetic. I loved how it turned out. And I have my cover page here and my to-do list and goals for the month, actually. My habit tracker that I stopped filling in at the end of the month, and my workout tracker, which also suffered a lot. I think at this time we went back to my workplace. We stopped working from home, and so it suffered a lot of changes in my life, and so it suffers a lot in my bullet journal as well. I have my weekly spreads, and I was getting bored of the other layouts, so I just did some weird ones for March. And I did this one. This is a weekly run task list. You just put the days of the week here and the tasks that you have to do on the side, and here the days with the events. I decided to try it. It was not the prettiest weekly spread. I didn't like it. So I went back to the other layouts. And then I kind of got busy, and I stopped doing weekly spreads like that, and I just did a run task list where I would just put the day and the tasks that I had to do, and at the end of the day, the next day, and the tasks for that day. And it worked for a while. I feel like I did only this spread, but yeah, it worked out pretty great for the time that I had because I was really busy this week, so yeah. And I really love bullet journaling because the weekly spreads that I do kind of revolve around how my week is and how busy I am, so I normally don't do preset weekly spreads for all of the weeks of the month. I just wait for Sunday and I do the next week in my bullet journal, and it works well for me, so that's just how I do it. And then I wanted to track how many hours I would study and how many hours I would be at work, and I did this tracker, which was a little confusing, but for the time I wanted to try something like this, and it worked out pretty great. More journaling. And this was the time where I was hitting burnout, and I wanted to just make a list of things that I was going to do daily, weekly, and monthly to see where my energy and time is going into and what things I could just cut out of my life so I would not get burned out so easily. And March was a hard month for me because of this as well. And I did more brainstorming and journaling because of that. I still hit burnout in March, but this helped me a lot to just not fall into a worst case of burnout. It was pretty bad, but somehow this helped a lot. And then we start with April. For April, I always do a theme controlled by my followers on Instagram and my Vibely members. And the theme for April was just green leaves. That is normally the theme that wins for April when I let you guys decide on my themes. So it was really fun to do, and I really like the minimalistic aspect of it, because for me it's still minimalistic even though it has a lot of elements on the page. I still like how the page turned out, and it wasn't too full for me, so yeah, I really like how we put together this theme with the help of my Instagram followers. Then for April, I decided to try a big calendar to just put different things that I would do throughout the month. Not really like a monthly calendar, but just a memories page for April. So if I did something interesting on that day, I would put it in here. It didn't work out for me because I'm not a huge fan of calendars that I would have to like write things in here. So yeah, not the brightest time to do a memories page in a calendar, but I still like when I try new things in my bullet journal. Then I have my habit tracker again and my study and work tracker, and I just changed the layout a little bit because it was easier for me to see it this way. But yeah, and in April was when I decided to try to track the days that I would update my bullet journal and actually do it every single day, and it actually changed my life in terms of bullet journaling. And I started updating my bullet journal every single day starting in April, and it was amazing the difference that it made in my life, and it made me so much more productive. Then I have my first weekly spread, and it's a bit messy. I have an event section here and just the days. I didn't really enjoy this weekly spread, but it was fun to do, so yeah, I had fun. More journaling for March. It says March 26th here, but it was in April. My journaling pages are a little bit messy in my bullet journal, but this was about my burnout, so I was still suffering from this in April. Then I started to like hit reset in my brain and in my bullet journal, and I just did a huge monthly to-do list for April on this side, and here I kind of missed my workout tracker, so I just put workout here and the days on the side and all the days that I did workout and the days that were rest days. And this was another beginning of minimal pages because I just needed some task lists and to just dump everything that was in my head in here, and it helped me a lot. Again, my bullet journal is like my safe place for my mind, and it really helps me to just see everything clearly when I have easy layout pages for me to do just that. More weekly spreads without any layout whatsoever. More journaling. Minimal weekly spreads again, and I don't like to do the same weekly spread layouts over and over again, but I still like to do minimal ones. So I change my layouts for weekly spreads a lot, but they are very quick to do. That's kind of like my middle point for weekly spreads. And then I did this random one because I wanted to try different washi tapes. These are from Notebook Therapy. And some other weekly spreads with a to-do list on the side. I was just experimenting different washi tapes at this time because I didn't want to base my weekly spread layouts into a theme. So I was just using different washi tapes. And I feel like this is the end of April. Yeah, and then we start with May. In May, I used a huge collection from Notebook Therapy. This is the Bunny Blush collection from Notebook Therapy with Blossom Bujo. And at this time, I just wanted to take a collection from Notebook Therapy and create a theme with it and not really think about extra things for the theme. Because the theme in my bullet journal, they were becoming something like really time-consuming for me. So I just wanted something simple. And using a collection that has stickers and washi tape helped me a lot to create a theme and not overthink about anything. So that's what I did, and I did a little calendar for what happened in May, just like I did in April. Smaller, but it just didn't help in any way, so I just didn't use it for half of the month. And I did the task list and the workout that I did for April, but a little bit prettier this time, and it also helped me a lot. My habits again, work and study tracker, and I cut short on the habits this time because I wasn't really needing all of the 6 habits, so I just used water, study, and workout trackers for my habits, and that was enough. And as you can see, the pages are full of decorations, but the theme itself is very minimal, and the decorations itself are really minimal, so I really like how this theme turned out as well. It's actually one of my favorites because of how simple and easy it was to set up. Another weekly spread. more weekly spread layouts here. A quick reflection and life review with some other tasks and brainstorming about life. Weekly spread. This one was for Instagram. I wanted to do a weekly spread just for a picture for Instagram, and that's what I did. So that is why it's more like collage-ish, and it's a bit more saturated than the other ones. Then I did a simple one again. And I did a reflection, a little bit of journaling, because my Cisco exam was in 2 days and I was really nervous. And then we start with June. I don't know why I have this thing here, but... And June was a whole month sponsored by the Seasonal Pages shop. And I really like the vintage vibe of it with the plants and the browns. I really like this theme. It's one of my favorites as well. I think May and June are some of my favorite themes of this bullet journal and maybe the whole year, because of how simple it was to set up, but the collage and the vintage aspect of it, I really liked it. So these things are from the Seasonal Pages shop, and all of my bullet journal setups are going to be linked in the description, by the way, because I didn't mention that earlier. But I did my habit tracker here, my huge task list here, work and study tracker, workout tracker, and this was just my next Bujo page where I will just put here everything that I wanted to do in my next bullet journal and the things that I wanted to take out, whatever. Yeah, it helps a lot, but I just don't like to do a whole page just for that reflection, but yeah. And then we have another life reflection, because yeah, I didn't pass my exam on the first try, so I had to change a couple of things about my life, and I needed to just reflect on that. Then we have the first weekly spread for June. Another weekly spread, and I had a lot of fun to just... I remember that at this time in June, I was just spending the afternoons at home just planning my weekly spreads, and it was the best time to do this. So yeah, this is the last weekly spread for June and the last weekly spread in this bullet journal, and these were all the themes that I did from January 2022 to June 2022. Okay, so now it's time to flip through my second bullet journal for 2022. I always use 2 notebooks for each year, normally because I like to do 6 months in one notebook and 6 months in the other. So this is the one that I used for July until December 2022, and this one is the Moonlight Spells limited edition bullet journal by Notebook Therapy. I wanted a black notebook because I really like black stationery, so I chose this one, and it has the holographic pages that I love so much. So I really love this notebook, and you can see that I used it almost until the end of the notebook. So I wrote my name at the beginning, as always. Again, I did my collections for this notebook inspired by the Moonlight Spells collection, my Notebook Therapy, and I absolutely love this cover page that I did for the year. It's just me. I really like black and minimalistic things, and this page was just so pretty. And I used my Memo printer to print the numbers here on the side, but I just love how this page turned out. And here I have my future log with just the last 6 months of the year. I don't really use future logs again, but I feel like I always need to have one in my bullet journal, so that's what I did. Future events and tasks again, and my year in pixels. And as you can see, I just migrated the first 6 months into here, and I did a new color code so it would be even more visible the days that were good and bad. And I also added here the days that I cried and I was anxious. And yeah, I've been filling this out pretty much every day, and it's just amazing, and I want to do this for 2023 as well. My memories page, and this is a page that I've been doing for a while now. It really depends on my year. I normally don't like to do my memories page as a collection because I don't know how the year is going to develop. But I've been trying to incorporate memories more into my bullet journals, so I added here a few of them, and I still have this space here for any memories that come up in a week, because today's Christmas, by the way, so I don't know if something is going to happen so I can put it in here, but if it doesn't, I will look back at the year and fill it out with a memory that I really liked from this year, that it's not any of these ones. But yeah, I got a haircut because of my breakup. I passed my Cisco certification. I met Heda from Mochibujo. I did a ghost photo shoot with my friend and with my boyfriend, and just my boyfriend in general, because I'm still really happy with him. So yeah, I decided to like put it here as a memory, because I really like spending time with him, and it has been amazing actually. So yeah, I still have this section here empty that I will fill in at the end of the year. And I will share this page on my Instagram as well as my Year in Pixels one. Then I have my checkout page again. I tried this page twice. Doesn't really work for me. I didn't migrate it to my 2023 bullet journal, and this was just my brainstorming of the whole traveler's notebook that I did for my setup of 2023. But yeah, and I didn't do any more collections for 2022, so let's get started with July. For July, I actually wanted to do an LGBT rainbow theme, and I wanted to do just more like collages and small stickers, like deco stickers, so I did this theme, and it's my second favorite theme of this year, because I just love how it turned out. It's so colorful, but it's so beautiful. I just love how this theme turned out, and I really like that I took both pages to do my cover page, because I feel like it was even better this way. Tasks, workout, with a bunch of decorations in the back. Habits, playlist that I didn't use at the time, but I posted on Instagram with 6 songs. It made more sense for me that way. And then we have the work and study tracker again, and I just changed the colors a little bit to fit with the theme. And this is actually my favorite weekly spread for the entire year, because it's so minimal and so colorful that and this is not like a weekly spread because I did different days, but I just really love the layout and the colors that I did for these task lists for July. And then we start with August, and this was another theme inspired by a Notebook Therapies collection, and I used a bunch of leaves and flowers with purple and green. I never did a purple and green theme, but I really like how this one turned out, and I just did my very simple cover page with some washi tapes on the borders, my to-do list for the month, my study and work tracker that I didn't fill out until the end because then I passed my exam, so I didn't really have to study for the rest of the month, so I just left it like this, and my habits for August here as well. I did the same layout for my task lists for August that I did for July because they were working really well for me, so I just duplicated them into August. Then I did the same idea but a different layout. And this is just like mistakes of weekly spreads and random task lists that I needed for different days. And then we start with September, and this was another theme inspired by and sponsored by the seasonal pages, but I didn't really like how the theme turned out, to be honest. This is one of my worst themes of this year, I would say, because I didn't really like the black with the book pages and the browns. It was really confusing visually to me, so I didn't really like it. But I like that I did a coloring page for the cover page. That was something different in my bullet journal life, and I liked the experience, but I didn't like the outcome of it. My habits and playlist, and as you can see, I didn't really like the theme at all because I didn't post anything on Instagram, first of all, and I didn't use it for the entire month, basically. So this was basically an experimental theme that didn't turn out that well. worst weekly spread of my life. It's so ugly. I didn't really like it. It's green and brown, but I just hate it. I hated how my mind worked for this theme. A better weekly spread here. We are going back to the normal 8 squares for weekly spreads. A much better weekly spread, and I wanted to play around with different stickers from small businesses, so I just did this with some stamps, and I highlighted every other line for my days to just like add a little bit more of pizzazz to my weekly spread, because I was really feeling it like it was really boring, so I just added more color to it, and I just repeated it to the following week. And that is all for September, and then we start with October, which is my favorite theme for this year. It's this one. This is like my soul into a theme because it's black and white. It has a bunch of stars and sparkles. It's so beautiful. I love this theme so much, and it was really easy to create actually. So I just have here my cover page, to-do list for the month, my playlist, which I really like how it turned out, habits for the month. The worst part about this theme was the page connection and the letters. This was really hard to do, but I really like how the pages turned out and the whole theme. It was just so beautiful. I loved it. My horror and Halloween movie list that I didn't complete, but I was happy that I was able to watch a bunch of movies and TV shows and movie sagas for Halloween because I really wanted to do this, and I've just been putting off watching Halloween movies for a long time, and this October I actually took the time to do it. And then we have my first weekly spread, kind of inspired by the ones that I did in September. And random task lists here. More weekly spreads that are just basically the same. And then I kind of wanted another like run task list for the week. So I just wrote the headers for each day and I would do the tasks, and then whatever I needed, I would do it. And a little reflection here on the side. More weekly spreads, and I actually started tracking what shows were coming out here on the side and to see if like I was watching them when they came out. And then we start with November. In November, I did another theme sponsored by the seasonal pages, and this theme was a bit better than the September one. I still used the book pages in the corners, and I used the Polaroid with their stickers around it, and it was much more minimal than the other one, so I prefer this one a lot better. So I did my cover page, my to-do list for the month, and as the months went by in this year, I had less stuff on my monthly spread. That's what I've been noticing, because I got busier but I had like less things to do. I know that doesn't really make sense, but the things that I had to do were just so full that I had less things to do, but they were like more time consuming. That's kind of like how I can explain it. So I had less things in my to-do list. And then I have my habit tracker, and I actually hated this habit tracker. That's why I didn't use it. I just didn't like the layout. Yeah. So when a page doesn't work for me, I normally just don't use it. And yeah, I'm kind of mad that I did this workout tracker and I didn't use it, but sometimes it happens. It's okay. And my playlist spread, also not my favorite, but it worked for that month. Weekly spread, similar to the other one in September. Running task list, similar to the other one, with my shows here in the with the shows that I was catching up with on the side. Another very simple weekly spread, and I actually like when my weekly spreads don't really match the whole theme because I don't post them anywhere, so they don't actually have to be good layouts or good spreads, and I just do whatever it comes to mind. And I actually really like this type of lettering. It's really small, really like minimal. It's really pretty. And then my boyfriend went away for a month, and I was like, okay, I'm not going out that much. I'm going to focus on my health. So I did a health log here to track all of my habits and things I was not going to eat. And it worked out really well. So this is something that if I really need to focus on my health, I would do again. And a little to-do list. And I believe I was going to do to-do list, but I moved on to December. And in December, I actually did different layouts, but it worked out really well. So I did my very minimal cover page, and I wanted to do something Christmassy. So I did red and mushrooms. I don't know the correlation with Christmas, but I really like the color combination with the brown, so that's what I did. And I did a big calendar for my habits related to workout. So I would put here how much water I drink that day, how many coffees I took, and what type of workout I did. This is not updated, but I have to update it today. We are currently on the 24th, and I have to look back on my week and see all the things that I did. I still don't update my bullet journal every single day. That's something that I need to work on for 2023. And then my to-do list for the month, playlist page, watching spread. I still have to fill this in as well to post on Instagram probably. Or probably not. I'm probably not going to post this. And then I have my watching section here. And just like I mentioned on my January for 2023, my bullet journal setup for January, I'm not going to do this page in case I start watching something that I want to keep up with, because I did this spread right here, and then I'm watching another with my boyfriend, and I watched The Haunting of Hill House, but you know, I'm not going to watch anything else, so this line is going to be kind of just here, and it's not a spread that really works out for me anymore, so yeah, I'm not going to do it again. And then I have my weekly spread for December, and this is when I did a better weekly spread, but you know, it was really nice to do a good weekly spread with an event section and the next week section with the days. I really like to do these types of weekly spreads, and I just did it. I posted on Instagram, but I just did it because I needed a revamp for my weekly spread layouts. And then this was last week. I messed up the days here, so I didn't use them. And then I decided for the last 2 weeks of the month to do something really minimal, because this is the kind of aesthetic and layouts and scheme that I want to do for my weekly spreads for January. So I just did an event section here on the side and a task list for the whole week. And the same thing for the last week of the year, because I'm not going to do a bunch of things, but I still want to track with the things that I do and have a to-do list for the week. So that's what these are for. And that's everything in my second bullet journal for 2022. I actually think that this last half of the year was better than the first one, but yeah, those were all the themes that I did in 2022. I'm really glad that I experienced different things this year, and that I tried different aesthetics for my monthly setups and everything. I really hope you enjoyed this flip through of my themes for 2022 in my bullet journals, and thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!